DP. My brother seems to think, and he's said this several times, and I don't know why he said it, but he's going against, like, when I make a video talking about how I was illegally evicted, and basically they broke into my apartment and arrested me at gunpoint without a warrant or without announcing themselves, and illegally evicted me, and the landlord just avoided me, and they just bulldogged me out of there. My brother has made like claims and posts online saying like that what they did was legal or that they were allowed to do that.
People on the internet would post shit and I would fact check them.
He's simping for the cops. I don't know why he simps for the cops.
Like a journey for the truth.
Like, especially whenever I say something that puts the police at risk, of like what they did. They know what they did was wrong, and I talk about that. He really attacks that stuff.
And honestly, it was probably stupid of me to do that because I like burn a lot of bridges with some people.
Saying stupid things that like don't even make sense.
I'm not interested in making shit up,
I thought I had the facts. I guess it doesn't matter.
And it's so fucking sick how somebody can lie like this. But all of it is a lie. You know what I mean?
Because look, I am all about the truth and the facts.
All right, and only the truth.
So go ahead, make up some more lies, you fucking prick. He tries to say he does this and says this lie, like to make himself out to be like the good guy or something, and like I'm just a horrible person.
You're asking me questions and you're recording.
You're recording me too, aren't you?
I'm not recording you. That ain't on, bro.
Why not?
Because that comes on when I want it to come on.
Well, I'm just...
Look, it ain't on.
To protect myself, you know what I mean?
Well, I understand that, but
because,
you have your prelim, we'll talk about it then. You're asking me questions and you're recording. You
could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
And here's just a little clip, just to shut my brother up, because a simple fact that everybody knows is true, and all landlords know this.
Why can't the cops evict somebody?
Because the crazy laws don't allow them to.
So this is about the whole apartment thing, it's known, it's very known that police are not allowed to interact with tenant-landlord disputes. It's a civil matter. They are not allowed to get involved, period.
I called law enforcement, and there was nothing they could do.
Oh,
well.
Arrested for unlawful eviction.
See how that works? And that's why I didn't break into my apartment. I lived there for 4 years, okay? I was let into my apartment, and then I wouldn't leave, because I knew if I left, they could lock me out and take all my stuff. And I was standing my ground, period. It's my shit, motherfucker. So you can see in the video whenever they arrest me in my own apartment, the fucking picture's hanging on the wall, my hat's hanging on the hook, the coat's hanging on the wall on the way out the door. He said, when he tries to say it was clearly supposed to be a vacant apartment, you know what I mean? He's so full of shit. There's no evidence of that either. He's just full of shit. That's it. Full of shit. And I learned all the laws, and I learned that they could not legally evict me like that, and I just wanted to make sure they didn't steal all my shit, right? I needed a little bit more time to get my stuff out. She wouldn't renew my lease is the only problem. I didn't know back rent or anything like that. They just didn't want to renew my lease, okay? Because me standing on my rights, they had a rule you couldn't have guns if you lived there. Well, there's a rule in the Constitution that says I can, and my rule trumped your rule, so I just did. and they didn't do anything about it. But they come up with this lease to change all the rules and be more aligned with the laws, right? Because it was absolutely unconstitutional prior to that. But in the process, because they're mad at me because they have to do all this shit, they wanted me out. You know what I mean? And they were watching me inside my apartment without a doubt, totally proving it to myself. I don't need to prove it to anybody else because I told the cops didn't care. They weren't going to do anything, right? So they made it very clear that they're not going to help me at all. The truth always comes out. The truth will always prevail. I did the research. I understand that, the tenants' rights. And that's why they even put out a memorandum a couple days before they tried to evict me. They put a memorandum out, the Federal Bureau of Consumer Protection, threatening landlords or tenants that tried to evict people with federal prosecution. You know what I mean? And I had the paperwork. I couldn't give it. I couldn't serve it or give it to the landlord because she kept avoiding me. Running away. She was supposed to come to the office that day, and I was supposed to go talk to her. Instead, she knew, for whatever reason, she did this. She didn't come to work. She went right to the cop station instead. So she did not come to work instead. Dillhole even says on camera that he doesn't have any actual evidence or was not shown any paperwork or anything that that gave him any rights to do that. The building manager, just went to the police station in the morning and said that I was in that apartment and I wasn't supposed to be. Couldn't provide him with any paperwork because I was not trespassed. Couldn't provide him with anything at that point. So you see how somebody just saying something to you and telling you something, just because she did that doesn't mean that the cops have the right to do that. They absolutely do not. They were the ones that should know better. They're the ones that should have told her, sorry, there's nothing we can do unless you have to provide us. Well, they can't do anything. They're not supposed to get involved in a civil matter at all. Not at all.
Just when you thought you'd seen it all, a police officer literally busts down his front door.
Do you have a key to the house?
He took my key.
So if you want to kick the door, you're more than welcome to. Any door can be kicked in depending on how hard you work on it.
Then they charged him with felonies until he got a lawyer who got the charges dropped because the cops did not have a warrant. The cops did not have a warrant. The cops did not have a warrant. Let's step back and analyze the current situation. A woman complains to police officers. At what point in this process were police officers authorized to enter into this man's house? Because the Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. The most highly protected place under the Fourth Amendment is your home. There is a presumption in the law that if police officers enter your home without a warrant, it's unconstitutional. And that although there are circumstances where that can occur legally, it's on the government to prove that it was legal because they either had a warrant or an applicable exception applies. And there are only really two exceptions to the warrant requirement for police officers entering your home. One is voluntary consent, which clearly is not an issue here. And the only other remaining one would be exigent circumstances, which is essentially an emergency situation. Exigency situation would be like a baby is choking inside, or it could be a domestic violence incident where somebody's potentially in danger inside, there are children inside potentially in danger, something like that. Here, there, objectively speaking, are no facts indicating that there could be exigent circumstances. And there's clearly no voluntary consent. Thus, the only lawful way for these police officers to enter that house would be with a warrant. I just wanted to defend my rights. Then an attorney stepped in and saved the day. His attorney filed a motion to dismiss the charges, and after reviewing the evidence, the Lincoln County Prosecutor's Office chose not to proceed with the case. The attorney said that these officers committed egregious civil rights violations and that he will soon file a federal lawsuit against the police department. And then we have the issue of whether or not it was an excessive force constitutional violation for the way in which they got into his house. This also falls under the Fourth Amendment. Many times, police officers are allowed to physically seize people But the Fourth Amendment requires them that they have to seize them in a reasonable way, that they have to seize them in a reasonable way, that they have to seize them in a reasonable way. According to the case law, sometimes it's reasonable for police to seize people by shooting them, including in the back. Under other circumstances, it's not reasonable to use really any force at all. The general analysis for excessive force cases is the U.S. Supreme Court case of Graham versus Connor, which has 3 elements for us to look at. 1, the severity of the crime at issue. Secondly, whether or not the individual was actively attempting to evade or resist arrest. And third, and most importantly, whether or not the individual posed an immediate safety threat to any individual, including police officers. Here, there's already going to be a fantastic argument that any amount of force at all will not be reasonable, because it wasn't reasonable for police officers to be inside his house at all without his consent. They did not have a warrant. They can't establish that there were exigent circumstances. Thus, it's not going to be reasonable to use any amount of force to seizing him as they did. If you want to help hold these officers accountable for violating their oath and violating the Constitution and victimizing an innocent citizen.
That and they allowed me into the residence. And when they allowed me into the residence, by doing so, they can't then trespass me. You see what I'm saying? When they're the ones that let me in there. Now I refused to leave because I knew my rights, and I wanted to talk to the landlord. And that they wouldn't, she avoided that. Why do you think they avoided that? And they sent the cops in. They tried to fucking kill me, dude. So, all of this shit, and I didn't, they put me in a position where they stole all my stuff. And I'm in a position where I don't even have any way or any money or any, I had to think about how I was going to fucking shower or how I was going to feed my kids and how I was going to do anything or live under a roof somewhere. And I definitely didn't have any way to hire a lawyer and sue them in civil court or sue anybody. And the cops clearly would not do anything for me. They're the ones that fucking acted against me. So what is this person supposed to do? You understand? So I should have contacted the Federal Bureau of Consumer Protection and reported them, because they're the ones that put out the memorandum and threatened landlords with federal prosecution if they don't abide by the eviction moratorium, and they don't follow the guidelines that they set forth, which said that anybody trying to serve a notice to quit or trying to evict somebody has to provide the tenant with the resources and the information at the time that they're serving the notice to quit, which they didn't do that either. I learned this later on after the fact, but this all went into effect beforehand. And as a landlord, they would have known that. They would have absolutely known that to be true. You understand? So they knowingly violated the law. Several of them, And why? It doesn't make any sense. Why they would all put themselves at risk for doing that? It doesn't make any sense at all. Maybe they all wanted to steal my stuff. I don't know, Is there money involved? I don't know. But but I know I caught the maintenance lady. My dad caught the maintenance lady with my possessions in her car. And he went and pulled in because I wasn't allowed back there after they did finally trespass me. My dad pulled in the parking lot and he told them and advised them to put the stuff back, because he was there when the judge said that they can't take my stuff. That they wouldn't be, they can't, they won't, because they can't. Well, they did. They did it anyway. And who do I report it to? The judge said you can't take my stuff, that I have to be afforded an opportunity to get my possessions. Well, that's what the judge said. The cops are the ones that fucking made sure that didn't happen. So who do I report it to? Who enforces that? You know what I mean? The whole thing was ridiculous. But when my brother says stupid things, I have to come on and I have to educate people, on the law.
You need to make sure that people see the footage, spread the footage, pressure them to release the raw body cam so the rest of us can see it, to request, to demand, to ask for an independent outside report from the sheriff's department to give answers to the victim, answers to the public. That is how we protect the Constitution, and it must be protected.
Stafford Management Properties owns the terrace apartments in Patton, along with at least almost 30 other properties like that in the state of Pennsylvania, and even more in the state of Maine. So they are a big company. It's a private company that owns all these properties, and they get funding from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So they get funding for subsidized housing, for housing low-income people and senior citizens and stuff. They get funding for that. That's what they prefer. But they like to violate people's rights with their lease and stuff like that. And that's why I was just standing on my rights, and they never, instead of even saying anything to me, they got rid of me, and they drew up an entire new lease for all the tenants. There's a lot. I mean, there's 5 different buildings just at the terrace apartments, and each building had 12 apartments. So there's 60 different apartments there. 60 different tenants, 60 different leases, you know. Do the math. At $800 a month rent. Some were more than that. They're bringing in almost $50,000 a month. Almost $50,000 a month. That's crazy. Almost $50,000 a month. Do you think they put out anywhere near that to maintain those properties? They have to maintain insurance on those buildings. You know, the water bill, sewage bill, and they have one office lady who comes in fucking hardly ever. They have to have a maintenance guy. They usually employ somebody that's like next to retarded. You couldn't get them to fucking do any work to save your life. I mean, it's minimal. And the work that they do is shitty as fuck. Horrible quality work. Who can't get a job anywhere else, like a felon, you know, and then they give them keys to all the apartments. So, you know what I mean? That's what these places do. And then they're coming into my apartment when I wasn't there, and I started learning all this and becoming aware of it all. So that's when they just railroaded me out of there. And they violated my rights even more to do it. And that's why Debbie hurried up and fucking retired afterwards. She probably got a payoff. Because nothing else makes any sense why she would put her own liability at risk to do that to me, you know what I mean? Well, everybody that was involved. It doesn't make any sense why any of them did what they did, right? None of it makes any sense. Because every single person put their own life and their own freedoms at risk to do what they did to me. I'm a single dad with 2 kids. My rent was paid. I never had a problem with rent. I never had any write-ups. I was courteous to the neighbors. And I was actively trying to come to a resolution with the landlord, well, with the property manager, okay? And which is fucked up because it's not her property. It's not her wallet at all. You know, nobody's wallet's getting hurt by me. Okay, they were getting their money without a doubt. When my lease ran out, they jacked my rent up to $795 a month. Okay, so it wasn't subsidized housing anymore; it was full rent, and I had applied for the rental assistance program and was approved. Okay, so they were going to get paid no matter what. I was only late from the time my lease ran out. Okay, until they illegally evicted me, which I had money in an escrow account, but there was a lease in limbo that they gave everybody a new lease with new rules, and it didn't go into effect until June 30th of that year, 2021, and it changed. All the rules of the lease changed, the original lease. So nobody had a lease. Technically, nobody had a fucking lease at that time. Nobody. You know, mine just happened it ran out May, but they gave us these new lease rules. Okay, back in April, before my lease ran out. So what they did was go through the courts, and then I didn't even get to fight in court. I called over before the time of my hearing, and they said, we already had it. We already decided. They decided without me there. They absolutely, so that's not due process either, okay? All my rights were violated, every way, shape, and form. When I tried to push back and do anything, you know, they gave me so much time to get my stuff out. They only let me get my stuff out like a couple days. I had to coordinate with them and everything else, and then they would just unlock the door and let me there for as long as I was there to get my stuff out anyway. But they would lock it up after I'd leave. So I learned my rights during this time and learned a lot of things. I learned quite a bit, and I learned that I was being absolutely, I was not liable for any crimes whatsoever, and that I had certain rights, protections under the law. And I'm not trying to screw anybody over, is the thing. I'm just trying not to get screwed over in the process. That's it. But what the cops did is absolutely against the law. They cannot break into somebody's apartment unannounced without a warrant over when there's a civil matter. Okay, I did not establish any residence anywhere else. That was my domicile. That was my home. But the point of this, me showing this video, is to point out, the truth. That it's evident that there are protections under the law for tenants. They can't just make somebody homeless because they have, they're the manager, they're the property manager, or whatever, or because they're not allowed to do that. They have to go through the courts. And I was not afforded any due process at all. They fucking called before my hearing time and told me that they already ruled and not to bother to come over. Like, it's so fucked up. I could go on for days, all the shit that they did. It was clear that they were all involved. Clear. Like, none of it was typical or normal at all. It was all fucking very peculiar, very strange how they did that. None of it was standard, So, and then my situation is in itself evidence of the collective, the collective's intent to go after me and try to destroy my life. All the people involved all had the same intentions. They were all on the same page. For some reason, they all had this sense of immunity, like they couldn't be held liable for doing any of this. They all had that same attitude. So I just assumed that they must have been directed to do all this by some authority figure, right? Because why else would people feel so emboldened to do this without any fear, with total impunity? Unless they had somebody, with a badge and a gun, and they were bootlickers, and that person directed them to do it. And they are ignorant people, so they just do what, they do it because they're dumb. And they don't think that they should be held responsible for their own actions if an authority figure tells them to do it, because they're simpletons. They're like children. They don't understand or have an actual, responsible comprehension of the law. Well, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense at all. Nothing makes any sense. None of it. But you can't deny a lot of the evidence I have. Clear evidence, undeniable evidence, that there is a group of people that stalk and harass me, and that try to discredit me, slander me, and smear my name, and they make up all these lies about me. That much is already been proven. It's already a done deal, as far as that goes. All these people and evidence, undeniable evidence that this exists. Just who exactly the people are and the proof that each person is involved I don't have that, I'm sure that they didn't write down their intentions. And unless they state their intentions, good luck, prosecuting these people for being a part of any kind of group, stalking group, or community stalking, cause stalking, right? Cause stalking. Yeah, good luck proving that. They do prosecute people for this, but when the people that are doing it to you are the people that would prosecute themselves, you're not going to get anywhere, And that's why we have so many people with this problem that can't get anywhere. Because when you have somebody with this problem, 9 times out of 10, the people involved are the very people that you would report the crime to. This is their vigilante justice program. I'm just saying, when it looks like a duck and walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's usually a fucking duck. If you don't explain yourself, then people are going to believe what the truth implies. And the truth implies that you're a gang stalking piece of shit motherfucker that just lies to everybody, Ed. The point is, you just say stupid things, but people, when you say it, instead of asking the questions, why are you saying that? Or why is he doing that? Why is he doing that, right? And then your answer is, he thinks that me and government agents are stalking him. So I said, it's worse than I thought. You really are suffering from mental illness, Ed. You shouldn't waste any more time, dude, before you get some help. Because next thing you know, you'll be, harassing the public, going to a public place, just shining, a bright light in someone's face, accusing them of stalking you or something like that, It's people like that who are dangerous to society, so. This is what my crazy fucking brother does. He thinks that he can just come and shine a light in somebody's face in the dollar store parking lot because he feels like it.
You just assaulted me? Here's John, after hours stalking in front of the Dollar General. Right now.
I came to the store to buy groceries. And then I'm texting on my phone before I pull out of the fucking parking lot so I don't text and drive.
You're shining a light in somebody's face. Who are you? To tell you.
I told him to leave me the fuck alone and quit shining the fucking light in my face and just leave me the fuck alone.
You assaulted me with shining a flashlight in my face on stroke. You guys started it.
But that sounds like gang stalking. What are you doing, seriously?
And this motherfucker comes up and starts harassing me, shining a light in my fucking face, demanding I leave.
You do seem like a fucking gang stalker. Like, you give credibility to him.
What am I doing here? What am I doing here?
Like, he has all these questions.
Look, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I said, call the fucking cops. Leave me the fuck alone. Quit stalking my wife, he says. Quit stalking my wife. And he sits here and fucking shines a light in my face for fucking the last 10 minutes.
Assault? Is that what you... Assault? 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 Is that what you said?
Yeah, if you're shining a bright light in our eyes.
My friend, targeted Patton. You have to believe everything he says. And I'll be honest, you'll have way more evidence.
That's a crazy person right there. See, they try to say, oh yeah, like targeted individuals are dangerous or something, right? I say my brother's a fucking weirdo fucking gang stalker, right? I go to the dollar store. I just went to the dollar store. Here's my fucking bags. I just came out of there. They literally were closing when I came out. I'm not stalking your fucking wife. Believe me, I could care less about your fucking, your girlfriend, Ed.
There's no winning in this situation. That's what I realized.
And I don't think that you guys are government agents stalking me. You're definitely not a government agent. You didn't even graduate high school, dude. How could you be a government agent? You know what I mean? You're just a piss on that they give fucking gift cards to or somebody that they have dirt on. They probably have fucking dirt on you doing the proof that you did the creepy shit you did, And they're probably just making you do this shit, or else, they're gonna throw your ass in jail and throw away the key.
Ed, what? I mean, straight creeper shit. I mean,
yeah. And
he made out with Tressa. He fucking tried to molest Marlena and blame it on Nitty trying to roofie. I'm like, Nitty's gonna waste drugs on Ed.
I know. That's probably more likely the truth, because I've never seen my brother be more motivated to do anything in my life. He wouldn't even go to work. He wouldn't even get up to go to work. He wouldn't care if he lost his job, but he will get up in a second to come and make sure that he's right there. Whenever I go to pull out of somewhere, he's right there to drive around the corner and shit, Sorry, that's not my brother. My brother's lazy. So he's got to be getting paid. I'm sorry. That's just, there's no other explanation to explain it, And no, he doesn't have to explain himself. So I went up to my dad's and I reset his network and secured it. Because there's a bunch of mesh networks that are spoofing his network. There was literally 6 or 8 mesh networks that said the same thing as his network said, and it started out with 4, and then I reset the network and then there was 8. But anyway, these are all the devices that are not connected to the network that were previously connected to his network. This is just through the Xfinity app. Ed's SA14 last connected February 24th 2024. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that did say Ed's, right? Ed's. The only Ed I know in this town that would be connected to my dad's network is my brother. There's a device with my brother's name on it that was connected to my dad's Wi-Fi at one point. Well, we're pausing your device. Hey, look, my name is Ed Hofer. I'm a gang stalker. Are you stupid or something? This shit is gonna be eradicated. People are gonna be held accountable, and you guys are literally exposing yourselves, telling on yourselves by doing this. See this? I just leave to go to the store, right? Now look at that. You see who that is? That's my brother. Here, you want to see? This is my brother. Hey Ed, oh, you want to high beam me, Ed? See, that's my brother Ed. The gang stalker, Jesus Christ. Now, you still want to say my brother's not involved? That's him right there, sitting right outside my house waiting for me to leave, and then he high beams me. Save lives, you know? The power it had to minimize the loss. Hey, look at that. That would be my brother, who I guess doesn't have his... What are you beeping at? What are you beeping at? I have the right of way, you fucking asshole. Wow, that's how he drives? Wow, man. Wow, he needs to see a therapist or something. He needs to see a therapist or something. You see that? I was just pulling in and he freaking started freaking out and beeping at me and pulling out. Oh, I know. I can.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts. Never waste time, you got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off, what do you like? Make a dream job, no 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
I guess I don't have any haters watching me anymore. No, there's a bunch of them watching me. So, screenshot this, motherfucker!